Tales of Estolia. Written by Sashina Kerfman. Volume 1. The Promise of Zacharias. Part 6. Prophecy. Chapter 7. Reflections.
When I was summoned to the hospital wing of the palace for a birth, I was not surprised. The hospital and maternity wings of the palace were two places in need of spiritual guidance. Guiding individuals into this life, and sometimes out of it, was one of the primary functions I held. I was struck forcefully once I arrived that something critical to our future was going to take place. The Amador triplets, as they unfortunately became known, were going to present ongoing challenges within the framework of Estolian society. As with all things, I immediately sought the guidance of the Spirit. Lazarus Ezekiel Zakarian, Capitulo 88.
Nico lay on his bed in his room, staring at the mural on the ceiling. His mother and sister-in-law took Kenzie under their wing after they arrived. If he had been of any other calling, he likely would be regretting not following her to France and seducing her there. Now that he had been given official sanction, and now that she had told him, non-verbally at least, that she was going to marry him, he would be kept away from her until the night before his birthday. The thought of the sweet seduction on that night heated his blood. He rejected the notion of anything sweet or seductive. He had a feeling they would ravish one another. She struck sparks off him in ways he had never read about or spoke about with his father, uncle, or brother. Kenzie O'Rourke was a passionate, vibrant force to be reckoned with, and he looked forward to the reckoning. Oh yes, he looked forward to the moment when her soul would envelope his. A light tap on his door preceded it opening. He looked over and saw his brother coming into the bedroom.
Your Kenzie is amazing,
Leon said, laughing.
You might have warned us, though.
Nico laughed with his brother. He had known that the flamboyance of his choice would bemuse his family.
Deity had a hand in choosing her,
he reminded his brother.
Certainly true, brother, certainly true.
His face took on the familiar look of remembering that so frequently fascinated Nico. All the men had it, once they were solidly wed.
How are Callista and Tiernan?
Leon sat in one of the chairs by the bed and leaned back, a bright smile on his face.
Tiernan is doing very well. Callista is enjoying motherhood. I believe we might try to provide your son a playmate of the same age.
A true hardship,
Nico said dryly.
Callista likes your Kenzie. I think she will appreciate having someone else closer to her age to keep her company.
I thought Ria just moved back to Estolia.
Nico said, thinking of one of the reasons he journeyed to California in the first place.
You are right, of course, and liar. She and Max are also staying at least a year. Callista will have plenty of company, as will your Kenzie.
Kenzie. Every conversation drifted back to the woman who would keep his soul. Nico closed his eyes to savor the visual memory of Kenzie standing surrounded by the pulsating glow of her aura. Kenzie was grateful for the chance to be by herself. She would join the family for the midday meal in a few hours. It was important to take some time to absorb the impact of the last 24 hours. She sat in front of an ornate vanity mirror and brushed her hair, while she pondered her impressions of all that took place since she participated in the contest with her friend. When she first started to date him, Mark was proud of how important faithfulness was to him. He wanted to impress her, have her see how close he was to her idea of the perfect man. One of the things that hurt the most, once she realized that he was spending time with Sheila, was that his protestations of faithfulness were without substance. Once he found someone shorter, thinner, and prettier than Kenzie, he ignored everything he ever said about being faithful. When they had their big showdown, she pointed out his hypocrisy. His response still hurt. He blamed her lack of allure.
What the hell did you expect?
By the time he was done denouncing her character, appeal and femininity, she had grave doubts she could keep the attention of any man for an extended period. Nico might be attracted to her now, but she knew from experience that it could, probably would, wear off. If she could believe Nico, adultery was unknown here in Estolia. Faithfulness was built into the religion. But was it true? She set the brush down on the vanity table and looked at her reflection. If she could just believe everything he told her about his faith, she would marry him and remain in his country. She looked at her rainbow reflection and grinned, feeling a sudden lightness of spirit. She wanted to marry the marvelous man she had fallen in love with. Her skin prickled. Had she really fallen in love with Nico? She barely knew him. When she first saw him, she recognized him as a man with great personal power and, within moments of seeing him, imagined herself intimately entwined with him. Even after she and Mark got engaged, she never imagined intimacy with him. Not like Nico, who had the ability to energize her imagination. If she was honest with herself, he did more than that. Nico walked into her life and tilted it on its axis. He enticed her with his accent, dazzled her with his dimples, and captured her with his charm. If what she was feeling was not love, then she did not know what was. Because for certain, her emotions were more involved with Nico after 24 hours than they were with Mark, after knowing him almost 18 months.